This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I am your host, Gianna, and today we've got the opportunity of talking to Kristen Smith. Thank you for joining us. Excited to hear your story.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on here.
Of course. So, Kristen, give us the background. Who are you? Where are you from? How did you grow up to be a real estate agent?
Okay, so that's a long story. So originally I'm from Washington State. I now am in San Antonio, Texas. So I went into the Air Force right after high school graduation, spent 23 years in the Air Force as a medic. And I actually got my master's degree in elementary education. And I had thought that I was going to go and teach elementary school once I retired. And it came about where my daughter was having a lot of healthcare issues. She's a type 1 diabetic. I was spending a lot of time at the doctor's office with her. I was like, there is no way that I can have a Monday through Friday job and be able to get away and take care of her like I need to. And I have a friend, this time I was stationed in North Carolina. I have a really good friend who's a realtor there. And she's like, you need to go into real estate. And I was like, what are you even talking about? She's like, well, as a medic, you like to help people and you like to teach and you get to do that every day. So I took her advice and right after retirement started my classes and I've loved it. And she was absolutely right. I'm so glad that I listened to her.
Absolutely. No, that's really cool, Kristen. And, I like that you looked at it from the aspect of like, hey, I can build my schedule a little more. I can make the life that works for me. So I love that. And Kristen, was EXP your first brokerage, or how did you stumble across EXP and go about making the move?
So EXP is my third brokerage. Mm-hmm. So my first 2 years I spent, are we naming other brokerages or just kind of leaving them off? So I initially went with Coldwell Banker, and I absolutely loved the training that they had. At the time, they had a coach there, and I ended up coming on right when he started, and he was actually brought on for the top agents. And all the top agents stuck their nose up, and they're like, we don't need coaching. And I was in my new agent training. I was like, I'll take coaching. And so I had free one-on-one coaching, and that definitely built my foundation and set me up for success. Absolutely loved the brokerage and the broker, but I did not love how much money was coming out of my paycheck. So there's a mastermind group that I was a part of, and they kept telling me, they're like, doesn't matter how much you love them, you're paying them way too much. In fact, when I did leave them, I'd paid over $50,000 in brokerage fees. Because you can never, I know, because you could never, there was no cap. So there's, so you were always having to have your brokerage split. And then of course you had, all the other fees that you had to pay. And on top of every single transaction that we did had a 5% marketing fee. Wow. On top of it. Didn't matter if it was buy side, sell side, whatever. So, I had a friend that owned a small brokerage, Remax brokerage, and he's like, hey, give you a split, 18,000, come on over to us. And I was like, heck yeah, this sounds great. So I spent a year with them. And then there was just no mentorship and no coaching. I loved the split, but I felt like I was stagnant and I wasn't growing. And to be honest, I was put off by EXP. Initially, I kind of, and I hate to say it, kind of thought of him as a used car salesman. And anytime I saw an EXP agent, I was like, I don't want to talk to you. Don't try to recruit me. Leave me alone. Mm-hmm. But in a mastermind group I was in, I saw all these mega producers going over to EXP. And then on our Facebook group, there was a long post about everything that EXP has to offer. And I was like, why in the heck is nobody talking about this? Why are they only talking about rev share, rev share? You know, why aren't they talking about all the coaching that's available, the education, you know, all the technology that's there? So I went off and I started interviewing different uplines and found a perfect one that my uplines are phenomenal. They offer, and there's coaching that's offered every day. And I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. No, I love that for you, Kristen. And a lot of people, you know, they're skeptical before they come over to EXP, and then they hop over here and they're like, wow, this is great. And EXP has a lot of cool things to offer, right? Rev share, collaboration, stock options. I mean, seriously, the list goes on. So now that you're over at EXP, you're the top 2-3% of the company. What have you really fallen in love with about the brokerage? And what keeps you here? What makes you, you know, want to retire with EXP?
So, and you already said the word collaboration. I was dumbfounded with how open everybody. I mean, you have these top producers are like, here's my playbook. You can have everything. This is how I built my business. Here's my book of business. And they're just so giving and they want to pour into you. And I just love that. And I love being a community like that. And it's, I mean, there's no other brokerage that's like it. And I mean, you look at it and you have, you know, you have brokerages that, of course, your brokerage is going to put on your annual meetings and stuff like that. But then which brokerage has one agent that puts together a large function for agents to come together and have Tony Robinson and is put on by an agent and not by the brokerage? And it's just everything that's available is just phenomenal.
Absolutely. No, it is cool. And there's so much to gain with EXP and that collaboration. People are excited to share with you. They're excited to coach you, mentor you, give away their secrets. And Kristen, before we dive into all things Icon, tell me about you, your work-life balance. Obviously, you came over to real estate to be able to, you know, be in control of that work-life balance. So how do you do it all? How do you be a top producing real estate agent and also, you know, a mom and a mentor, and where do you draw boundaries and lines and balance work and play?
A schedule, having a daily schedule, sticking to it, having coaching, and making sure that I'm sticking to it and being accountable. I mean, you can easily work 24/7 in this career, but I mean, you do have to have that work-life balance in there, especially when you do have kiddos.
Right. Absolutely. And Kristen, have you made any like I guess I don't want to say outside hires, but have you leveraged out any of your tasks, whether that's a virtual assistant, a regular assistant, an operations manager, a transactions coordinator? You know, what were some of those tasks that you took off your plate that was able to allow you to scale up to the production that you're doing now?
TCs and building a team.
And so, like, you know, with those first tasks, like, I guess what went through your head, right? Because like, it's hard to relinquish control of certain things. And then it's hard to trust other people to come on and like kind of represent your brand, right? So what was your thought process on that? And like, kind of just like relinquishing control and trusting these people to help you build your brand?
Well, I think initially I did not interview the TCs like I should have. I just went off of, hey, looking for a TC. Who do you guys recommend? So, you know, after a couple of them, I learned, oh, wow, you know what? I have some questions I should be asking them, you know, a little bit more. But it is hard to give over the control of those items, you know, even to you know, you want to make and not have to double check, but just being able to finally partner up with an amazing TC that is on top of everything and I don't have to constantly go back and look over. And then with creating the team, just making sure that the team members that we all have, that we all work the same. We all have the same ethics. We all have the same standards.
Yeah, no, that's important. And, you know, when you're making a team, you do want to bring that family and community aspect to it. So, you know, if they do their job, great. But if they can really just be a providing member for that community and a staple in that that sense of family that always helps as well. And so, Kristen, let's talk production. Let's talk icon. Let's talk you being top 3%. So in your market, where's your market? What's that average housing price look like for you? And how many houses do you have to sell to be able to cap?
So San Antonio, Texas. So right now our average home price is about 350,000.
Okay.
And we have to sell just about 30 homes to be able to meet that.
Okay, awesome. And then, so 30 homes, that's great. And then is that with the 20 transactions on top of it or not the 20 transactions?
Oh no, that's just total.
That's just total. Okay, cool.
Total.
And then, Kristen, beyond that, there's a cultural commitment, right? So you have to be a mentor or a coach, sit on icon panels, vet other icons. There's a lot to choose from when it comes to that. So what is your cultural commitment and why do you opt to go with that option?
So initially I picked just for mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a couple of mentees. But then they recently changed it so that we are able to get points from different areas now. Mm-hmm. So I have opted in to be able to be able to do that so I can do panels and other items as well.
No, that's awesome. And, it's a really cool aspect that EXP has brought to the table because the teaching and the training that's out in the world is brought to you by the best of the best in the brokerage and industry, which is, invaluable, really. And Kristen, being an icon agent comes with a lot of benefits, right? So you get that cap back in stock. We talked about, how much money you were leaving on the table at your last brokerage, which can be sickening at times. And this brokerage actually offers you the opportunity to earn that cap back, and then it can multiply because it's in stock. So you've got the stock options that you earn back. You can go to shareholders and EXP Con for some stock awards. Being an icon agent is really an elite status. So it's easy to catch referrals and you're trusted by your colleagues in EXP. And of course you get a big glass shiny trophy. So what's your favorite part about being an icon agent? Why are you setting that as a standard for yourself and your team moving forward?
Well, I'm just being able to be a part of the top 3%, but being able to, who else gives back all of your
cap.
Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. No, you're right. It's something in the industry that's hardly heard of. And if you go to your broker right now, you're not with EXP, and you ask them for an opportunity to earn your cap back, they're going to laugh at you.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
And no, it's really exciting because that money multiplies. And I've had agents that were able to pull out that money and put a down payment on their dream home. Or one of my agents, he has already paid for both of his daughter's weddings, and they're 7 and 9, right? So he's excited to have that. Of course, the option of using it as a 401k basically is also exciting. So there's a lot that goes into that. And Kristen, for people that have their eyes on the Icon Award, maybe they just switched over to EXP, maybe EXP is their first brokerage, and they are looking to Icon in their first year here. Is that possible for them? What are some goals they need to be setting out to hit that, or major mistakes to avoid?
So you definitely can do it within your first year. I did it my first year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but things that you need to do is you need to have that business plan. You need to know what your goals are, and then break those goals down into quarterly and then to monthly, and then follow up with them and make sure if you're not on track, then you need to come up with a way to get on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And, hold yourself accountable. It's a tough goal. It's a big goal to have. And, it's awarded pretty handsomely. But, as you face a busy season and a slowdown season, you don't want to miss this goal by 1 or 2 transactions.
Right. Right. So just making sure that you're on top of those goals. But in the end, it's just to help people find a home. And that should be everybody's goal. And it's just, cherry on the top to be able to get the icon.
Absolutely. No, I love that. And Kristen, you kind of mentioned it earlier. So my next question is, were you skeptical of EXP? What was your thought process on that? And
I was very skeptical. So skeptical. So I said that in between Coldwell Banker and Remax, I went from Coldwell Banker to Remax, and before I left Coldwell Banker, I had also went to one of the EXP luncheons to explain it. And it just completely turned me off because it was only about rev share. And so I was like, why are we worrying? I just want to sell homes. That's all I want to do is sell homes. I don't want to worry about having to recruit. I'm not a recruiter. I just want to sell homes and help people. And so I was originally, really turned off by it. But that was because I didn't know everything that EXP had to offer. And then when I learned about all the education, the coaching that's out there, the technology, and of course the collaboration and just how giving everybody is, I can't see why anybody would not come over, and to have the people, to have access to the people. Like I said, my upline is full of phenomenal individuals. One of them, I have Randy Bird. So he was the #1 Tom Ferry coach. So he does coaching sessions for us every week, a couple of them. Tom Daves was the #1 Keller Williams agent in the world 7 years in a row. And then Don Yoakum was his coach, and he's on there. So to have those individuals that I can call and have access to anytime just blows my mind.
Absolutely. No, and it's exciting. And the resources here are just, I've used this word a lot, but invaluable, right? You can't put a price on them. And, how far it can take you in your real estate career. Whereas a lot of other people, have to pay to access these people or, secrets like this. And when you're with EXP, it's just kind of there for you. If you raise your hand and ask a question, they will come running to answer it for you. So Kristen, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself when you were skeptical, or to anybody watching right now and kind of convince them, hey, EXP is a great move for you to make. I know they make it out to seem like a pyramid scheme or a cult or all these other crazy things. What would you have to say to people to encourage them to make that jump?
Just ask the questions. Don't get caught up with people trying to lure you in with rev share. Ask the questions. And then with that, you need to actually interview who your upline's going to be. You need to make sure that you match yourself with individuals that are going to help you grow in the way that you want to grow. Some people are more into the computer tech savvy piece of it, and some people are more old school. So you need to find what matches well with you. But you also need to make sure that you have access to your upline. You know who they are and what resources that they have available.
Right. Absolutely. And, interviewing the brokerage and your upline and your sponsor is just as important as, them interviewing you. We want everybody at EXP to be the right fit. We don't want to set you up for failure over here. And if you guys have questions about EXP or teams or whatever that is, reach out to Kristen. Everybody here is happy to field questions and get you the support that you need and making that switch over to EXP. And Kristen, are you going to be at EXPCon?
I will.
Awesome. Well, I plan to see you IRL in Vegas. And those are all the questions I have for you. Is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with as we wrap it up today?
No, thank you very much for having me on. And, if you've been thinking about switching brokerages and you're thinking about EXP, just dive in and ask questions.
Absolutely.
You'll be flabbergasted by everything that EXP has to offer.
Absolutely. I love that. Make sure to reach out to Kristen. Thank you guys for watching another episode of the Icon Podcast. And Kristen, I look forward to catching up with you in Vegas.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
This Icon Podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.